It's Monday morning, and thousands of people from Summerland to Peachland still don't have a home to go back to. This weekend, a wildfire in the South Okanagan went from nothing to a full-blown catastrophe in less than a day. And as of right now, it is still burning, still growing, and still keeping over 20,000 people out of their houses. This is the Bald Range Fire, and if you haven't been following it, you need to be, because this is one of the fastest moving wildfire disasters British Columbia has seen in years. Let's walk through everything that's happened and everything that's happening right now. Start with the timeline. It was first spotted late Friday afternoon, August 7th, igniting near the Faulder area, a small rural pocket northwest of Summerland along the Princeton-Summerland corridor. Within about 90 minutes, it had already torn past 1,000 hectares. By that same night, it was somewhere around 5,000 hectares. By Saturday morning, it had nearly doubled again to roughly 9,500. Officials have compared the way this fire behaved to an explosion. And that's not just a dramatic turn of phrase. BC Wildfire Service confirmed the fire was displaying what's called rank 5 behavior on Friday night, with some officials describing pockets closer to rank 6. For context, rank 5 means a fully organized wind-driven flame front, moving fast, throwing embers up to a kilometer ahead of the main fire. At that intensity, crews simply cannot put firefighters in front of it. It's too dangerous. All they can do is protect structures and get people out. By Saturday afternoon, the fire had grown to an official size of 10,340 hectares, and that's the number BC Wildfire Service has been citing in briefings since. Independent satellite tracking services, though, using heat detection data, are now estimating the fire may actually be closer to 13,600 hectares as of the last day or so, meaning the official number may simply not have caught up yet with how much ground this thing has covered. Either way, we're talking about a burn area larger than the city of Vancouver. Now, here's the part that made this into a true emergency rather than just a big wildfire: how fast it moved toward people. The fire made a run east from Faulder, covering something like 15 kilometers in a matter of hours, pushing all the way to the shoreline of Okanagan Lake north of Summerland. It burned through the Garnet Valley and came down Cartwright Mountain directly above Summerland's Upper Town neighborhood. There is footage from Friday night, and it's hard to watch, of homes fully engulfed while people were still driving out, flames visible on both sides of the road as they left. Because of that, the entire district of Summerland, all of it, roughly 12,000 residents, was placed under a mandatory evacuation order overnight Friday into Saturday. That order, along with several others, is still active right now. As of this morning, evacuation orders remain in place covering Summerland, South Peachland, the Penticton Indian Band lands, and parts of both the Regional District of Okanagan-Similkameen and the Regional District of Central Okanagan. On top of that, evacuation alerts, meaning be packed and ready to leave immediately, are still active in Peachland, parts of Penticton, including the West Bench and Sage Mesa neighborhoods, and additional Penticton Indian Band territory. Put together, that's roughly 6,000 properties under a hard evacuation order and another 2,000 on alert, which is where that 20,000 plus evacuee number comes from. Let's talk about what happened during the actual escape. BC's Forest Minister confirmed that 18 firefighting aircraft had to be pulled off the fire itself Friday night and redirected purely to rescue people who were trapped. More than 50 residents ended up being airlifted out. Search and rescue teams worked through the night alongside RCMP, going door to door evacuating homes in the dark. And there was a specific scary problem that came up. With Highway 97 closed, GPS apps were automatically rerouting evacuees onto a Forest Service road that ran straight through the fire zone. Search and rescue crews had to physically stop multiple vehicles from driving into the fire because their navigation app told them to. If you are anywhere near this area, the advice from officials has been blunt. Don't trust your Maps app. Check DriveBC directly. On the most serious note, RCMP confirmed over the weekend that they are investigating a possible fatality connected to the fire reported by a resident in the Meadow Valley area west of Summerland. That's still being confirmed by the BC Coroner Service, and there's no further update on that as of this morning. But it's the kind of detail that puts everything else in this story into perspective. So what's the situation right now today? Overnight and into this morning, officials have been giving cautiously less alarming updates on one specific point. Downtown Summerland itself appears to still be standing. The town's chief administrative officer and BC Wildfire's fire information officer have both said the core of the community has not been destroyed, which was a real fear over the weekend. Power has actually been partially restored to parts of Summerland as of the last update, though officials are very clear that this does not mean people can go home yet. Crews are still evaluating conditions street by street. Gas has been shut off to properties in the fire zone as a precaution, and officials are openly telling residents this could take days and possibly weeks before a staged re-entry is even possible. On the fire itself, containment work is now focused on the southern flank in the area around Shingle Creek and Big Valley Road, where crews are building heavy equipment guards to try to box the fire in. Around 100 firefighters and 99 structural protection personnel are on scene, backed by helicopters, skimmers, and air tankers. The fire remains classified as out of control. Officials have said there's currently no immediate threat to Penticton, which is good news, but they're also being upfront that the situation is dynamic. Winds were expected to shift toward the west through Sunday evening, and a wind shift on a fire this size can change everything about where it heads next with very little warning. Beyond just the Bald Range fire, it's worth zooming out for a second because this isn't happening in isolation. There are more than 100 wildfires burning across British Columbia right now, and close to half of them are listed as out of control. Separately, the Kelowna area has its own major blaze, the Bradley Creek Fire, which has already destroyed well over 200 properties on its own. And if you're trying to travel through the interior at all this week, know that Highway 1 is also closed for a long stretch between Yell and Boston Bar because of an entirely different fire, the Ainslie Creek Fire, which has burned close to 500 square kilometers on its own. So if you're planning any road trip between the coast and the interior right now, both major routes have serious disruptions, and you should check DriveBC before you leave, not after. Air quality is another piece of this that's affecting way more people than just those near the flames. Kelowna, Kamloops, and Vernon are all sitting under moderate to poor air quality advisories, and the province has said there's no meaningful improvement expected in the smoke situation in the near term. If you're in the interior and you're noticing a scratchy throat or cough, health officials are recommending you cut back on outdoor activity, keep your windows shut, and if you have air conditioning, run it on recirculate rather than pulling in outside air. If there's one thing to take away from all of this, it's that this is still an active, moving situation. If you are under an evacuation order in the Okanagan right now, that means leave immediately and don't go back for belongings. If you're under an alert, stay packed and stay near your phone for updates because alerts can flip to orders with almost no notice on a fire behaving like this one. For anything official, road closures, evacuation boundaries, reception centers, go straight to DriveBC and Emergency Info BC rather than relying on social media or your GPS app. We'll keep tracking this one as it develops because it's clearly not over. If you found this update useful, drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you catch the next one as soon as it's out. To everyone in Summerland, Peachland, Faulder, and across the Okanagan Valley dealing with this right now, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next update.